Hey guys, it's Nicole here. So this week we're going to talk about lesson planning, and I want to alleviate some of the fears that people have. We've got a lot of people writing in asking like, how do I lesson plan? How do I make sure I'm covering all of my bases if I kind of want to go off the curriculum that I've purchased? Or maybe I want to be an unschooler, or maybe I want to just kind of weave in a little bit of unschooling and not just be so regimented in my parent teaching. Um, or maybe I want to be a world schooler or a road schooler. You know, there's lots of different names for this atypical type schooling. And so we're here to alleviate some of those fears with 7 simple steps that can get you started to planning your own lessons really quickly. So the first thing we want to do is pick a topic. What's interesting to you? What's interesting to them? Remember this kind of adage: if it's fun for you, it's fun for them, right? So if you're bored, they're bored. So pick a topic, right? The second thing we're going to do is we're going to pick we're going to start our KWL chart. And what that is it is a chart that looks just like this, and I like to do it on a separate sheet of paper so that I can kind of fold it up and keep it in my lesson plans. But you're going to fill out what they know, what you know, what they know. It's going to really surprise you. I know one time I was teaching states of matter to my kids, and I was so excited because normally you teach like 3 states of matter: liquid, gas, water. Liquid, gas, and a solid, not water because that's liquid. So the 3 states of matter everybody's pretty much familiar with since kindergarten. And I was going to teach 5 states of matter, and I was all excited about it, but my kids already knew. So this is where when you're determining your lessons, like, it's really helpful to fill this out with them. You might be surprised at what they actually know that maybe you didn't even teach them. So a KWL chart, we write down what we know together. We write down our questions, like, what do we want to know about? Where does our curiosity take us? This is not something you're going to fill in completion. It's something that you're going to build throughout the duration of the topic that you're teaching. And then finally, you're going to fill in what you learned. It's so helpful to write down what you actually learned from it, and kind of work that together kind of as a shared writing, meaning that they're telling you and you're writing it down. Because you may, when you are using that spiral approach that we've talked about, how you're bringing stuff back up into your lessons that may be not totally entirely related, or it's building upon material. When you write down what they've learned, then that's what you can actually refer back to. Okay, so our third step is going to be our research. And what we do here, we've got sticky notes and bookmarks. So what that means is when I am researching stuff, and I'm bringing it up on my computer, I will bookmark pages, and I'm like, okay, that looks interesting, I'm reading it. Or I will have this group of books of information, and I will cut up little sticky note pages, and I will put it kind of on the page that has information that I want to talk about. Don't be afraid if you don't know everything about this topic. I know some people at West Point, and they're probably going to be really mad at me for revealing this little secret, but they stay a chapter ahead. It's okay if you don't know everything. What you're trying to teach your kids as a parent teacher is how to learn. And if you're learning right along with them, what better way to exemplify that than to actually be learning with them, and not always having the answers for it, but knowing how to question and how to research and how to learn. So that's what I do with my preliminary research. Is I will go on the web, I will find maybe some interesting games or experiments that we can do, videos that are watching, documentaries, and I'll kind of bookmark that, and then I'll go through all of my textbooks, I'll go to the library, I'll check things out, and I'll put in these little sticky notes, kind of pages that I want to refer back to. The third step is, or sorry, fourth step, we're moving along really fast. So our fourth step is we're going to rough in our learning objectives, okay? So our learning objectives are kind of twofold. We're going to have our main objective, and we're going to have our sub-objective. Our main objective is like what we basically want to accomplish. It's kind of the rough it's kind of like the big umbrella that everything's going to fall under. And then we have our sub-objectives, which are kind of more of the detail-oriented stuff that we want to make sure that we're covering by the end of the subject lesson. And the way we determine these objectives is, first we're going to look at the age of the learner that we're talking about. If you've got one kid, that's pretty easy. Some of us have more than one. Maybe you're a mom at a co-op. So you're going to determine the age of your learners. The next thing is you're going to, you can do this, it's not necessary, but you can kind of consult your essential knowledge and skills. I know a lot of parent teachers in the beginning, they want to make sure, they're always worried about falling behind. And they don't want to fall behind. So what I recommend is to go ahead and look at your state or your country's kind of their essential knowledge and skills and what they're basically at that age level supposed to have known. As you get further along in homeschooling, I think you'll find that you kind of diverge from that, or a lot of us do, because we realize that we go in so much more depth than maybe what's essentially listed. And keep in mind, those are the basic levels. They're not proficiency. They are just to show that, like, I've basically covered this material. The next way to determine your objective is to, it's backwards in my phone as I'm looking at it, so it's a little disorienting to figure out where my hand's going and trying to read backwards. But this one is the duration of the subject taught. Oh, well, that's really easy. So you're trying to figure out, how long are you teaching a topic? Am I going to work on this for 6 weeks? How long during the week am I actually going to work on it? 1 hour a day, 1 day a week? You know, you're just determining the length of that. And that helps you figure out your timeline and your lessons. The final bit is to basically what they know, what they already know, and where do you want to take them? So that comes back to our KWL chart. If you know what they know already from previous years, again, bonus about being a homeschooler is you pretty much know your kids' education and where they are and where they're going. If you're just starting, well, this is how you figure it out. So you figure out what they know, and then you think, okay, so where do I want to take them? How do I round this subject matter out? So let's go back to that states of matter example. What they already knew was that there were 5 states of matter, and so where I wanted to take them was, for my younger one who's 12, I wanted for him to understand better the plasma and the superfluids, the 4 and 5 states of matter. For my older high schooler kid, we actually learned, like, there's actually 32 states of matter that are kind of theoretical. But for her age, she's just turned 17. We said, okay, let's look at the 15 states of matter and research that. Boy, this point I wish I had, like, somebody to help me and bring me some water, but so I'll just try to get through it. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to roughen our objectives, right? So that's how we do that. And then we're going to curriculum weave. This is this lovely drawing over here. And curriculum weaving is essentially that. You are figuring out every topic domain, right? So every subject that you could study in history, math, English, reading and writing, science, music, art, social studies, geography, all of those subjects. And you're going to write in your main topic, what you're mainly studying, and then you're going to write in kind of things that you want to cover in history. So you're going to look at this main topic and you're going to figure out how you can apply that in history. Now, people ask, why would I even do that? Why would I bother? Well, this is a way to kind of batch your learning, batch your authentic learning, right? So in real life, we don't have subjects that are taught every day or every other day for 1 hour a day of that particular topic where we only study history. So in real life, we weave it in, we combine it. It's, you could be reading something and you're going from physics to other levels of science, to math, to reading and writing and history. It's just all weaved together and it's all very fluid. That's what curriculum weaving does, is it replicates authentic learning. And it's a way for you to not fret over, am I supposed to teach every subject every day? Am I supposed to spend an hour of every subject during that day? You're not, as parent teachers, we don't want to replicate school at home. What we want to do is replicate authentic learning. And curriculum weaving is a great way to do that, to make sure you are covering all of your bases in a very authentic way with the topic that you're teaching. So what would we do now is we would research again, because remember, we're learning along with them. And at this point of the game, what I do is I'll go back through the preliminary research that I did, and I will begin to, so these sticky notes that I made, I will actually write, I will actually write what it is that I found to be pertinent for them to learn. So all of these books, you'll notice this week, I have tons of sticky notes kind of covering everything that I found important that I wanted to get covered on this topic that I was doing. So initially my preliminary research, I just put the sticky notes down on this interesting thing. This looks like it could go with a lesson that I want. And then through my KWL charts, through my curriculum weaving, through determining my objectives, I go back to that research and I say, okay, this fits in with that, or this does not fit in with that, you know. And then the final step here is I'm going to pencil in my planner, and I'm going to really define my objectives, and I'm going to timeline my lessons. So the type of planner that I love to use is, I like to get a really big one like this. And I like to take, it's hard to do me and filming. It could be like this. So it's going to have the months kind of outlined. And then what's really cool is in January. So this is why it's great as a parent teacher, because see, we have the entire month, kind of like a normal planner. So that's where I keep all of the family activities, the stuff we're doing. I'll pencil in cool field trips that I know that are coming up, or events on my community calendar, trips I know I'm going to take. I can just plan all of that out for the family planning. But then the thing that I love about this planner is during the actual week, there's lots of space to plan in. Now, is this where I write my actual lesson plans? No, because I don't really write a full lesson plan out anymore. What I do is I will write down each child, the main objectives that I want them to learn, and I'll put that on a sticky note because, you know, as a parent teacher, some weeks go crazy and they go awry, and maybe more is happening and you can't get these objectives covered. So I'll put them on a sticky note so I can move it with me throughout the month or the duration of that I'm teaching of that topic. But I can put each child in pencil. I like to plan things in pencil. And then what actually happens, I write in pen. I also journal things that maybe there's moods going on, or maybe there's questions that they have, or there's things that they don't know that I need to reteach, or I realize is missing in part of their foundational learning, and so I'll have to go back to that. So that's what I do in pen, and I color code for each kid. So that's lesson planning in a fast 13 minutes. If it felt like a whirlwind, it's okay. You know, email me, talk to me, guys. I'm glad to cover more questions that you have. And if you really want to get more in depth into it, we have a lesson planning module that we have up on the website. That goes into so much detail about what we're actually talking about. So yeah, you guys have a great week, and I'll see you later. Bye.